Hey guys, we're back. That's our best friend Shenielle.
That's my best friend Shenielle.
Oh,
I don't know why we keep singing.
because we are now turning into a musical channel. Please try to stay focused on my beautiful face and not my gigantic, enormous, big Wakanda earrings.
I tried to talk her out of it, guys.
No.
It just wasn't happening.
We have a treat for you guys.
A treat?
Yes, because I feel like it's one that all the women have gone through at one point in time. It's a bittersweet. Yeah, breaking up with
Bittersweet treat.
Yeah, breaking up with friends.
It's not a treat.
It's not, but it's our facts. It's our truth. It's our story, and I think that we need to help each other out. This is one that
I don't feel like a lot of people talk about this topic.
Exactly.
And that's the reason that I kind of wanted to. We're talking about breakups with friends this week. I think it's somber. I think it's sad. I think it's depressing. And you over here like, get you some ice cream, girl.
Yeah,
Put
because
some sprinkles
you know
on it.
what? Ultimately, those people that have left our life were toxic in some way, shape, or form, and their exit left was necessary and needed at the time that it was. And so it's a bittersweet treat, you know?
I don't think that all of my breakups with friends are because of toxicity.
That's true. Well, mine were. I'm not about the drama. I'm not about people staying in my life. That's not needed there. That causes more...
She about to get heated. I'm gonna just prep y'all from now because
Exactly.
she gets heated every time this person comes up.
All right, so let me get started upon this one, okay? No, I'm playing, guys. Let me take you back.
Breakup number 1.
Yes, breakup number 1. A girlfriend of mine. Should I say a
She
name?
wasn't even a friend.
Exactly, a person.
And I kept trying to tell her that, but she don't like to listen to me ever.
No, well, hear what though? Growing up where we grew up was along amongst a lot of the Hispanic culture.
First of all, I knew this girl from I was like 5 years old. I went to elementary school with her. You know, I kind of felt bad for her when we saw each other again because new school, new area, she didn't know nobody. So I was like, okay, you can hang out with us, but I didn't really want her to hang out with us. But I felt bad for the girl because, like, me having feelings and, you know, being nice and, like, you know, trying to think about others. Like, that don't ever get me nowhere. People is fake.
Y'all guys know me. I'm from Jamaica. Moved up here when I was young, and where we ended up migrating to is a predominantly very Hispanic culture, county. So I was like the only Jamaican, if you want to call it that. And when I was in school, there's probably one other black person. So when I met this girl, imagine I met Shenielle, and you guys heard the story when we first met. I was like, snap, my Jamaican friend. And it was like, you know, you're here together. And then we got to the next school year. And this is like exactly the next school year after I met you. She's there, new like Shenielle said, and she's Jamaican. So I'm like, Jamaican? We need to sit together. You know, like we want to, you know, like just be friends. She was telling me, don't XYZ. I'm like, but look at her. I think one day she was crying on the bus because...
That's why I felt bad. That's the only reason I felt bad. And I was like, yo, okay, you sit with us. Like, you know, be here with us because I'm, like, I might look like a bitch. I feel like people look at me and they're like, you know, screw her, she's a bitch, she thinks she's better than everybody, XYZ. Like, I'm not that person. Like, you look at me and that's the impression that I might give off, but like, I have a big heart. And when I saw that girl crying, like, it got to me. Like, I have people that I don't even like that I would still do things for. And I know that you don't like me and I don't like you, but at the end of the day, you're a human being. And like, I try to help people regardless of whether I think they would help me or not.
Yeah.
That's how I did it with her. I don't know why I did it because it came back to bite me in the ass. But this is your story, not mine.
Thank you. Y'all thinking, I want to get mad. Look who getting heated over here, okay? Needless to say, there was a situation that occurred. We were skipping school. And I was about to go see my man. And she was going to come along. We're, you know, just hanging out. Wanted to skip school. Now, this particular story here, come back for another story time because y'all want to stay tuned for it about the what happened. But Lisa say, I had gotten caught skipping. And, well, we got caught skipping. I go home. My mother tells me, hey, how was school today? And I'm like, oh, yeah, it was awesome. And she's like, yeah? And I was like, yeah. She's like, so then tell me why. Did XYZ call me and tell me that you weren't at school? Get the belt right now. And I was like, oh my gosh. Needless to say, I got the worst beating of my life that day. Her mother and my mother were very close. So she said, listen, I'm going to tell her mother because you guys were both out there misbehaving and XYZ. I'm going to tell her. So me being the amazing best friend, because at the time, I did not even consider Janelle my best friend. I considered her my best friend. You know, at this moment, this is my ace, my best friend. And I was like, call her up on the phone and tell her, hey, listen, mommy find out she beat me. She gonna call your mother. You about to get beaten. So just brace yourself because that whooping's coming. Help the sister out.
I have your back here.
Right? Help the sister out. Fast forward, I'm in my room sniffling. Mama called me down. She said, Shenielle, come here. And I said, yes, Mom. She's like, tell me why I just got a phone call. I was like, you got a phone call? She said, yeah, I got a phone call, Shenielle, from a mother, a very concerned mother. And I said, Mommy, what more can be going on? And she said, yes, this mother, it tried to inform me you have been skipping school. What? Yes, you've been skipping school and you've been going to go link a 38-year-old. What? Now, mind you, this is our, freshman year. So we are 14? And my mother is getting news that I'm sleeping with a 38-year-old man. Something completely different than anything that I had even told her. And so my mother was like, you should be lucky that I'm your mother. And I'm like, what happened? She's like, because you know what? I don't take foolishness. She's like, I asked this mother, well, what schools did you see my daughter at? And she said a school that is 5-6 miles away from the school that I attended. And she was like, at that point, she knew what was going on. She knew that my girlfriend, my best friend, the one who I had called, I was trying to hook up, trying to holler at, let her know what was going on, had called somebody else to try to get me in more trouble, to deflect off of what happened with her, and to let me get more beaten after I had already called and told this girl that I had gotten beaten. I mean, let me tell you guys something. My mother did not beat me like spanking. I'm gonna give you 2 love taps. No, Jamaican old school tearing up yourself is what I got. And this best friend of mine decided that she needed to call my mother and have some other friend call and tell lies on me. So you can imagine how betrayed I felt. How betrayed anybody would feel. I then went to school the next day. I mean, I was livid. I don't even know if I told you the thing. All I know is that when I saw her the next day and I lit her ass afire. Okay? And she was like, oh no, it wasn't me. So then how? How in the world? Like, I mean, just the ignorance of it. She tried to come back a couple of months later and tell through a friend saying, you know, how I was so wrong and how I went about the situation and how she was sorry and you should always forgive your friends. I want
Victim, boo-hoo, crying.
Yes.
What the hell up?
So I want you guys to comment down below and tell me if you think I'm wrong. Matter of fact, this has affected me in my life to, like Janelle said, every time I go back and I rehash, I get angry, and I have been trying to.
You could just bring up this girl's name and she gets heated.
So I've been trying to do my hardest to let go. So I'm doing this to like share and open up with you guys, like, and maybe in this journey, I am literally like releasing this woman out of my life, and I have no qualms about it. I have no issues with it. You know, like if she were ever to, like my husband said, if she were ever to come back in my life, would I give her another chance because people have grown? And it's like, no, I would not. Everything has happened and has occurred in my life for a reason. And let me tell you something, that this woman has showed me something about her particular sign that lets me know who I am as myself. I say, I can't deal with you. You know, so I have learned from that situation, and that was one of my best friend breakups. And I think the next one was the other girl.
Oh,
you know which friend I'm talking about.
Breakup. Exactly. I mean, that was one of mine too.
Just falling apart, growing apart.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, I have two takes on this. I've had a lot of best friend breakups, actually. And they all affect you in different ways, but it's just that, a breakup. You're literally losing somebody who is your best friend, who's with you all the time, who you consider like family, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I've had it where with her, like, not Shenielle, the girl that she was just talking about, she was my best friend since we were in sophomore year in high school. And the girl was like tied to my hip. We used to call each other twins. I don't know, we just were very similar and very different, if that makes sense. Like, we just fit. And there were just so many times throughout the years that she would do messed up things to me, and I like forgave it because she was someone who I had known for years. I have a big problem letting go of people and letting go of things from my past that I, invest time and effort into. So I just kept taking her back, into my life. And there were even things that she had no clue that I knew about. And I had never told her that I knew about it. She would do things and say things to me, and people who are my actual friends would come to me and be like, yo, this girl, like, that's not your friend. She did XYZ. She tried to do this. She did, and I wouldn't let her know that I knew. After a while, it just became a situation where it's like, I know who she is, and I don't necessarily want to let go of the friendship because it's been a long time and I do care about the girl. You're in my life for a reason. That's how I looked at it. And it was just like, when I need her for something specific, she's there. And it was one specific thing that I would get from her friendship. And I didn't want to let go of it. I don't know, it took years upon years. And it wasn't until like a couple years ago that the friendship ended. And to me, it didn't end maliciously. It didn't end like, I don't know. I think she was arguing with me, but I wasn't arguing with her. And I don't think she got that because it was over social media. She had a role that she played in my life. She didn't know that though. She was kind of like, that's my best friend, that's my best friend. But like, I peeped game and I knew who she was. And I just kind of like accepted her for that. So I trust her with certain things and I wouldn't trust her with other things. And that's just how it was. And one day it just kind of finally like ended. We've reached a point where it's like, I don't need you in my life and you don't need me. And I was being very genuine about it. I wasn't, trying to be disgusting or petty. Like, I really genuinely was just like, we've grown out of this. And like, I don't need you to be around to be happy. I'm not upset whether you're here or not. And you are the same way with me, I believe. Like, you don't need me in your life.
So would you say that she kind of like phased out of
That's how I felt. Picture. But I feel like she didn't take it that way. To me, it was just time. Like, it just reached that point.
Yes, it was. Because I had broken up with this friend years ago. Like I said, show me your stripes and I'll tell you who you are. I had cut that a long time ago. Like, you hurt me one too many times and I'm not going to let you back in there. She, on the other hand, was like, but, I kind of feel we've been friends for so long, all of us. And I was like, yeah, my time is precious. What I give out is genuine. So
it was just difficult, like I said, for me. And I feel like it ended in a great way, like for me anyway. I feel like I don't have any malice towards her. I don't have any ill feelings towards her. But I just feel like we were just completely different. Yeah, like, we value different things. Like, I don't know.
People would tell us, how is that your friend? Y'all are all so different.
Yeah, I just went in a completely different path, and I feel bad. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm talking crap about her. No, I'm not trying to. It's just that we just didn't value the same things anymore. Even when we were together, it was kind of like we would talk, but like, it was just different. It just became different, and so at that point, it was kind of like, she was fighting with me, and I kind of was just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not mad. Like, you know, we don't have to be friends. We don't. And it ended, and I just never spoke to her again, and that was that. But she was mad. I could tell she was mad just from the way she was talking.
I was there to be like, yeah, hang that up. Let's go.
Like I said, I just kind of used to accept her for who she was. But after all, it just phased out, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So that's one breakup where it's like, okay, you just, you know, you broke up with your friend, and it kind of hurts because it's like, damn, we've been friends for so long, and like now they're not there. But it doesn't hurt that much because it's kind of like the friendship just phased out, and it is what it is, right? Then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where you weren't expecting it at all. You know, maybe you got into a fight with them, maybe something happened, and, you know, you guys stopped talking, and you never thought that it would last, but it did. And so I've had that as well. I had a very, very, very painful breakup with 3 of my best friends. We were like a best friend group. It was 4 of us, and that broke me. That really tore me apart, and that was like a real breakup to me. That affected me to the point where like I was in and out of urgent care with like rashes on my skin because of stress. And I don't think that any of them actually knew how bad I was hurt. But bro, when I tell you, like, that ripped me apart. Like, it was really genuinely like a breakup. Like, I had just broken up with 3 boyfriends at the same time. Like, I mean, I considered these girls my sisters. Like, this was like, it was even a long distance like best friendship. Like, we would sit on the phone with each other forever, and, you know, BBM each other for like everything. And, you know, I'd spend my vacations there. I knew, you know, their entire families. It was a very close and tight-knit, you know, friendship. And obviously, you know, girls have their crap, but we'd always find, you know, a way around the crap. This time was different. I feel like I expected more from them. And I'm a very, my principles when it comes to loyalty, they lie deep. And this is the only one that ever withstood my definition of loyalty. It's a matter of, you know,
for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of, I feel like if that's your best friend, like that's the person that comes first, period. She's above all. Like that, like nobody else could ever test that. Like, you could never come to me about something with my best friend and I don't have her back instead of yours. Like, it is what it is. I don't care if I've known you forever. I don't care if, you know, I don't know, we have like this special bond or not. Like, that's my best friend. Like, you gonna have to fix that. Like, that's just how I felt. Mm-hmm. And I just expected more from them, and I didn't get it, and it really hurt. I felt like it was a discussion that we had had over and over again, and it just wasn't getting anywhere. And I was like, you really don't feel like you're like doing anything wrong. Like, you're not understanding it because you don't have the same ideals and the same principles that I have. And, you know, in time, I just came to realize, like, you know, you're not gonna always meet people with the same principles and values as you, and it is what it is. Like, I'm not mad at anybody for not having those values or not having those principles at this point in my life. We just think differently. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at any of them anymore. I was really angry at first. I was really hurt. I was, you know, I'd cry. I lost my sisters. I lost what I knew, you know, for years. Like, that friendship was from I was like 14 to about like 23-ish, 24-ish, somewhere around there. Yeah. Almost a decade. Yeah. And it was very stable to me, and it was something, you know, I loved every single one of them.
It was part of her everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, it would either be like, Shenielle, oh, bye, here I'm talking to so-and-so, or hey, so-and-so, bye, I gotta go talk over here. Like,
you know, it was something I held dear to my heart. Like I said, these girls were my family, and it was devastating. It tore me apart, and I just feel like people don't generally talk about things like that. Like, girls come and go in each other's lives, but it hurts. It really does, and it changes you. It's something that really affects girls.
And not just girls, though, also guys. But yes. But I do want to interject in this very moment and kind of give you guys some I guess, coping techniques. I mean, how we were able, as much as it was devastating for us, we knew that this all happened for the best and for the better, you know. In the midst of it all, granted, we were hurt, and it hurt us down to our core.
I shut down.
Yeah.
I completely shut down.
Yes,
like,
you did.
I think even months later, they tried to, like, a couple of them tried to talk to me about it. And I was just so hurt initially by the situation that when they came back, I was like, I froze up. I was like, I can't do that. I can't talk to them again. Like, I went through so much when we stopped being friends. I can't put myself through that. I can't rehash these things. Like, it hurt. It hurt like hell. And now months later, you want me to talk about it again? You want me to go back there? Like, and I turned it down. I was like, I can't do that. No, I'm not. That's not happening. On top of that, I was still very angry at the fact that you let months go by. I mean, y'all are my sisters. You have my phone number. You have every single email I've ever made. You have my Skype. You have my BBM. You have, no, not BBM. I had blocked them. I mean, social media is like anything. You have my damn address. Like, send me a letter, like something. If you really wanted to talk to me, if you really wanted to reach out to me, if you really wanted to make things right, like, you had a way to contact me. Months later, when you're coming back, you know, trying to talk to me, when I had already started to put it behind me. And when I say started, it was, you know, it was still fresh. It still hurt, but like, I was starting to be okay again. And now you're like, hey, let's talk. And I was like,
ready to talk now.
I just couldn't. And yeah, it wasn't until years later that I actually spoke to a couple of them again. And, you know, we're okay again. Obviously, it's not the same. We've all grown up. We've all, you know, we have different lives now. I still love them. They're always going to be my sisters. Like, we went through so much in everyday life. Not even with each other, but like just so much. And I love them. I'm always going to have a place in my heart for all three of them. But it just, you know, like it was tough. It was a tough one.
There is this thing that I do once a year or ever so often, but be very weary when you do it because it will happen. But I will say a prayer like this: Lord, I ask that you remove those that are not for me out of my life, and those that are for me, bring them closer. Expose those that are not for me. And the very first time that I had said this prayer to God, and it happened, the very people who were exposed shocked myself and my husband. This person had been there, and I know it's not really my breakup, but it was mine in a sense, because we are a couple, so we share our friends in a sense. So this person was like a rock in my husband's life, and also became a rock in our relationship because of he was his Janelle. And
he was his Janelle.
No, seriously. He was his Janelle. And
best friend, brother, family, all that.
Exactly.
Came up together.
Yes. When I said that prayer and those things were being exposed, things that he was saying in the streets were coming back to us, like, how come you have this person's back, but this person's over here saying XYZ about you? It rocked us to the core. When I encourage my husband to uproot our family from where we are to be relocated for our forward progress in our careers, and all of this garbage starts to be exposed and come out, it rocked us to the core. Can you imagine? I don't even want to begin to imagine if Jill and I were to ever become separated or something like that. Like, it was that devastating. Just be very wary of who you keep close, and make sure that the person values the same agenda that you value, and they match your crazy and they compliment you, because in this life it's very hard, and you need that person, that ride or die friend, to go with you. And sometimes, you know what, you may not have it right now, but do not feel weary, because that person will come, and when that person comes, you will know that they are your sister or your brother, or that ace. Those who are going through a friend breakup right now,
it gets better.
Yes,
it does with time. It's just like any other breakup.
Yes.
It hurts like hell. You gotta mourn it. You gotta get through it. Don't shut down like I do, because it's not healthy at all. And when I say it's not healthy, it will literally destroy you, like it did with me. I was, like I said, back and forth to the urgent care, things popping up all over me, rashes, things you ain't ever even heard of.
Yeah, your body will tell you.
Yeah, but that's just my toxic coping mechanism. Like, I just pretend like nothing is happening. I pretend that nobody exists. You know, you gotta get through it one day at a time, and it hurts like hell, but
you will get through it.
You'll find your people. You'll find your tribe.
Yes.
You'll find your best friend, your person, your ride or die, the person, you know, who's gonna be there through everything. I didn't have to find her, she was already there, but
and that's what I was saying, is that time will show you who's really, who's not. And who is for you and who's not, you know. So those that are for you, cherish them. Not that I feel like those people were not for me, it's just, like I said, we just had a different way of viewing things and seasons. I mean, it's the same way with actual relationships. You have, you know, a relationship, you love this person to death, but you just don't view things the same way. You're not on the same page, and you know, eventually you have to move on because that's not for you. And in everything, you learn from these relationships. Yeah. You know, like, they weren't there just for a time, to just be there for a time. You learned a lot about yourself. You grew a lot with them. You learned the negatives about yourself and everything. Like, it's a season. These people have been there for a reason. So it wasn't all just because, and it all just wasn't useless and worthless. Like, learn from it. What is the lesson that you learned in this relationship? And move on. And it's okay. You know, other people will come that you love. Other people will come that, you know, have your back in whatever season, whatever reason. I've gained a lot of friends over the years. I still have, you know, a lot of other friends that I know have my back, but that's nice. Yes. Definitely, that's my bestie. Thank you. You're such a wishful. No, thank you for being my friend. Okay, golden girl. Seriously, you know I love you. Thank you for being there. Yes, always, through everything, even getting locked up. Yes, and I'll continue to be there. Having a bail money. Yes. What up? Get out. Anyway, guys, that was our somber treat. Yeah, it was just, in hindsight, what you thinking now? Crazy. Anyway, you fool. That's my best friend Shenielle. And that's my best friend Janelle. Forever and ever. Forever, ever. Come back next week for another video, either Wednesday or Thursday, so you can see our beautiful faces. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that little bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. My bell. Ring it, ring it.